What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp here. This airs Friday. I promise you guys, I change clothes. Even though you've probably seen me by now in this shirt 3 or 4 times. I'm doing 3 shows today, the first of which is the last to air. It's with a guy who told me he wouldn't be doing any high-flying neck breakers and fucking lied about it. Shane.
What it is.
A little birdie, an owl in particular, told me that you're doing some crazy shit.
I need to know who your sources are. Who's ratting me out?
Who's owling you out is more like it. We didn't do a show last week. I want to specify. Shane was down with doing a show. We had some travel conflicts and stuff. Obviously, the unfortunate passing of Rosey, Matt, and Hawaii. I extend my condolences to his family, his friends, and of course you, Shane. How you feeling, man?
This week's better. Yeah, it was a pretty rough week last week, and getting through the tapings was pretty tough. You know, I got the funeral arrangements. By the time I got them, you know, it being in Pensacola, it's a 6.5 to 7 hour drive, which I can't do with my metal foot. I can't be in a car that long. I'll have to just go to the damn hospital if I do. And, you know, between that and possibly, I looked into buying an airplane ticket just for the day, maybe to try to catch either the, you know, at least one of the two, the wake or the funeral. But just logistically and economically, it wasn't something I could pull off. So, you know, I felt really bad about that. But I know the family understands. I talked to, you know, a couple of different people. But, you know, you still feel bad about not being able to make it. But, I mean, I got through it, you know, and my heart goes out to his family and friends. You know, their loss was, you know, I mean, it was a big one, and lose somebody close to you anytime.
Well, not only did you get to share a lot of great memories with him, you too shared a lot of great memories with us. I probably watched that tag team title win 10 times last week. I remember that still. I mean, I hated La Resistance. I was a 20-year-old man fucking hating La Resistance. And Rosey and the Hurricane winning that was really cool. I mean, and especially the finish. A lot of people don't realize how high Shane Helms was up. That's like a 5th turnbuckle being on top of Rosey's shoulders on the top rope.
Yeah, and you know, I've said a bunch of times. I'm pretty sure I said it on here. That was my favorite title win ever. Was just me and him, because it was one of those ones that was never supposed to happen. But you know, we just worked really hard to make it happen, and you know, getting to the back, you know, half the locker room was there waiting for us. You know, because they knew how hard we worked, and they knew too that we were never supposed to get it. So it was pretty cool. It was a very special moment, and I'm glad I got to share it with Matt. And he's a good dude, and I'm gonna miss him.
And of course, he's a part of that legendary, that dynasty in pro wrestling. Pro wrestling royalty was Matt, Rosey. But Shane, I want to thank you for being willing to talk to us about it. I know it's been a hard time for you. And as you mentioned, you did have tapings last week. That was, you had what, 4 or 5 straight days?
Yeah, I got in on Wednesday. We had a agents meeting, creative meeting Wednesday night. Then it's off to the races. You know, shows Thursday, Friday, 2 shows on Saturday, 2 shows on Sunday. And anytime I say show, we're actually filming like a week and a half of Impact with some explosions littered in. You know,
one night only too.
2 one night onlys as well. So I mean, it's a busy week. Today's the first day I think I even put on clothes.
So
I think I did yesterday. I did Codenam's podcast, and I told them clothes. I just need y'all to know I haven't done. Understand when I say I'm taking a day off, that means I'm not doing anything. I'm just barely a functional human being when I come home from those tapings.
Now at these tapings, Shane, I guess it would be safe to say that Global Force and Impact Wrestling, they've merged.
Yeah, that seems to be the the idea. I know we got a lot of champions running around, a lot of championship belts floating around. I think we just give them out to everybody. But
it's like the first indie show I did. Everybody had to have a belt.
Yeah. But the thing is, they're trying to do this thing where they're working with a lot of different companies. And, you know, like the Monster Factory Tag Team Champions are there. So it's actually pretty neat as long as that it kind of has a reason. There's a reasoning behind it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was some of the names you all brought in I liked, like Christina Von Eerie, fan of her. There are some interesting names, and I know it's building towards Slammiversary. How far ahead do you all know that this is the direction you want to go? Is this something that comes up in the meeting on the meeting last week, or did you all know going into these tapings?
That what was going on?
That the big Global Force Impact merger and the title deal.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw that in the scripts and stuff. I didn't really even think a lot. I kind of assumed, and I think a lot of us knowing Jeff, that once he was kind of in control, that there was going to be a lot of that going on anyway. So when I saw it, to be honest with you, I wasn't shocked, and I was just kind of like, okay, this is cool. I see where this is going. But I don't know. I guess there's going to be a merger type thing, or it'd be interesting if they kept them separate. And then, you know, like we talked about on the draft show, maybe once a year or whatever, doing the GWF versus Impact one night only type thing. You know, I like those more than just your average or more than just another regular pay-per-view. So, I mean, that could be neat, but it could be just a straight up merger too. So, that's a very good point. I'm not sure what the hell is going on.
What do you think of some of the new talent that's been brought in 2017? You got guys like Congo Kong. You do have the new LAX. They're like, I think Kevin Matthews, Christina Von Eerie, and then you also have Veterans of War, which is a familiar face and a new face.
I think there's potential for every name that you just mentioned. Congo Kong, I think, is, you know, I've always liked him since I met him. First time I actually saw Von Eerie actually work. There's potential there as well. I like the LAX thing that's going on. This set of tapings, there was a couple of things with them that might need to be fixed. Kind of had some indie tendencies come out, but there's still a huge potential. Conan on the microphone is just terrific down there. You know, with the stuff he's saying. You know, he's very passionate. His delivery is always on point. So he'll carry. You know, he'll make that. You know, that group so interesting that any things that they might need to work on, you'll kind of overlook until we can fix them.
Now, when you bring in LAX, obviously you're bringing a team with name value, but it's very much a new team. Like Conan and Homicide are familiar names, but you're reinvigorating it with new names. Obviously, Machete's been out of the business for a long time, so he's not coming back. Fernandez, a little up there in years, and he had a situation a couple of years ago that maybe, you know, doesn't endear him to Impact Wrestling. What was the process like, or do you know, of tracking down these other guys to be in this team?
Oh, I don't know what the deal was. I don't know who found them or what was going on. I know they wanted to do something with Conan, and so I don't know if it was originally even supposed to be these guys, but this is who they're going with. And I mean, so far they're doing good. I know the debut was hot, and the first couple of weeks after that were pretty hot. So what they did this last week, I'm going to reserve judgment till we see how it plays off on TV. But no matter what, there's, you know, that's really a hot property in terms of act on the show.
Did you hear about Bram getting suspended by Pro Wrestling Noah?
I read something.
Isn't that the most ridiculous shit you've ever heard?
No, but knowing him, I could totally see him laughing his ass off because he was on top of an ice cream freezer or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guarantee you he didn't mean it to be disrespectful or whatever, but he's a bit of a goofball when he. So everybody that knows Bram, you know, is laughing because they know exactly what happened.
Of all the things you could get suspended for, I couldn't have imagined that would be one of them.
Well, I'm glad it's that and not something bad.
Sure, of course. So, I mean, like, you don't think there's going to be any heat on him for that, do you? I mean, you never know.
It'll be the.
There was no heat on him in that freezer, was there? Damn, I'm good.
I don't think there's going to be any, like, but it'll be the, hey, dumbass, don't stop getting, because there's you can't just go to other countries and act like you can in America. We shouldn't even act like we can. We do in America over here, much less in other places.
Oh, yeah. The departure of Crazy Steve, was that a surprise to you?
No, I'd gotten wind of it a while back. So I was kind of hoping he'd stick around. I like him a lot. And he works really hard. So and I like the Decay gimmick, but you got to take chances in life, and he wants to try some other things. So my hats off to him for that as well. Good luck, young man. Good luck.
Based on the spot that he was originally put in, you could say that he was an overachiever because Decay became a really hot act and were instrumental in the delete. They had the delete or Decay thing. I think he was instrumental in the X Division for a while. So I mean, he had a really good run in Impact Wrestling. Yeah,
and one of my favorite things in a match that I seen down there was a bunch of X Division guys doing the dives, and they're all diving out on the same side. And Steve goes and dives out on the other side where there's nobody even there. It just
it fits him. That fits him. We've also seen people like Magnus, Matt Morgan, some familiar faces showing up there. What do you think about Impact bringing those? And is it a product of having Jeff Jarrett there?
I'm pretty sure they're just instrumental in getting a lot of these guys out. But I tell you what's funny, we talked about how the how the internet is about certain stories. Like if you bring your people they don't know, there's people on the internet going, "Who the fuck are these people?"
Yeah.
And then you bring back people they do know. Why are they bringing these people back? Like,
yeah.
You damn sure cannot please everybody, But I liked, like I always say with Impact, one of our strengths is the unpredictability factor, and not knowing who you might see this week, I think adds a level of excitement to it that you're not going to see in other places. So, I'm a big fan of it. Bringing people in, and who clicks, let's do some more with. If it don't click, okay, well at least we tried, and let's move on. But I like that. That is a whole entire world of wrestling that you can see on Impact, not just this set group of 20 guys.
Definitely. So I'm not spoiling anything because Impact tweeted it out. Scott fucking Steiner?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. God, I didn't expect that one.
Yeah. And when that music went off, man, that place was nice, man. He's got a great he's got a very uncredited entrance music.
What kind of shape is he in? I saw him wear the big jacket.
He had the big jacket on, so I couldn't tell. Like, I think he's a little bit smaller size, but I'm pretty sure he's just as lean and monstrous as ever.
How couldn't he be? But I mean, that was a Randy Savage trick. He did that when he made his TNA appearance. Like I want to say, 13 years ago. He wore the jacket. He wasn't necessarily cool with how he looked compared to how he had maybe 5 years before in WCW. But I'm interested to see Scott Steiner, and he's a guy who had legal trouble with the previous regime. So apparently that bridge has been rebuilt.
Well, I don't think it's been rebuilt. It's just it doesn't have a need to exist anymore. That old regime's gone. So it's a new bridge going somewhere else. But it's funny, guys that have that career of being these monstrous physiques in their later years. It does really get to them because there's always going to be people comparing them to what they used to do or how they used to look. And at the end of the day, Father Time is undefeated. I was in an indie show a couple years ago, and some fan, I got the dad bod going on. So some guy trying to be a jackass because he said, "What about that hurry gut?" And I said, But I looked at him and said, I'm fucking 40. And so everybody just laughed at him. And then I think he kind of felt like an asshole. He's like, well, I mean, I wasn't trying to be mean. I'm like, yes, you were, jack off. Go away.
Why else would you say that?
Yeah, but it did. Once I said, I'm fucking 40. Can't stay in shape your entire damn life.
I used to think it was bullshit, man. Like, I would play pickup basketball with this guy who was like 29 or 30, and he would hobble up the court and make like a super long range three. And I'm like, dude, you're 30. What's the big deal? And I was like 22, 23 at the time. He's like, oh, trust me, it happens even at 30. And I was like, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Then when I get to 30, I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel it. Now when 40's coming, I don't think I'll be playing pickup basketball. I think I'll be sitting on my ass.
Yeah, I used to feel, when you're younger in wrestling, you don't feel the bumps hardly at all. You'll be sore a little bit, but you're just invincible. As you start to get older, you'll feel them, for days afterward. The other night I did a big bump. I felt it while I was doing it. Like actually even before it actually happened. I'm at the age now where it's going to hurt me just thinking about it.
Matt Sydal showed up.
Yep.
I just want to say he wasn't on the Thursday tapings. He was on the Friday tapings. Is that because he was celebrating 420?
It could have been a possibility. I think
like,
even if he'd been at the taping, there might have been a celebration going on. So,
hey, you never know. Do you happen to have an injury update on Eddie Edwards? Heard that has a knee injury.
Yeah, I think he had knee injury that was bothering him actually going into the tapings anyway. So, going to take some time and get it fixed.
Well, I definitely hope for the best for him. Been liking the stuff with Davey Richards. I mean, they know each other so well. Good God, the two guys just were built to either team or face each other.
Yeah, well, watching one of the one night onlys we did, somebody got hurt and had to pull out. I think it was I couldn't do it. And they put Eddie in the spot against Bobby Lashley, which off, and just sitting there looking at the Raw, not a slide against anybody at all, but it might be bell to bell, the best on the entire roster. Really one of the best in the world in terms of he's going to go out there. It's going to matter who it is, no matter what style it's going to be, and he gets anything out there. So, I hope he gets healed up and comes back soon.
I see them, Edwards and Richards, like for Impact Wrestling being like the Eddie versus Ray, the Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, the Triple H versus Shawn Michaels. It is always something you can go back to, and it always makes sense. If they decide to become buddies again and they team up, it will almost always make sense. Like, it's just there's a lot of stretch there that you have. There's a lot of room you have for something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, you bringing in the wider layer to the story. Times in history when that's done, and it makes it just worse and kind of a distraction. So, but in this case, it hasn't. It's actually really helped out a lot. So it's interesting to see how it's going.
How have these working relationships helped Impact? I mean, I know Garza Jr. and Laredo Kid are around, but anybody else you're looking forward to maybe showing up, or how have Laredo Kid and Garza Jr. adapted backstage?
Oh, they've done really well. They actually the last couple matches with Impact was probably some of their best stuff that they've done since they've been there. The Garza on the pants spot, kind of just throw it away, and so I have examples of how I used to do the hurrah pose, and just different ways of when to use it and what to do afterward to get the maximum effect of that pop. So and he takes really good advice and he's got some really good ideas as well. So they're doing good.
Are you under the suicide mask? I say that because I notice he loses a lot.
No, that might be why he's called suicide. Though. That might be why he's so bummed out. And if he starts to win, he'll get happy and we'll have to change his name.
Did you ever hear the story about like that Chael Sonnen would say? He was like, we've all been at those shows when Shannon Rich shows up and he says, who wants a night off? and you end up beating Shannon Rich. I think Shannon Rich might be under the mask.
That could very well be.
He's thrown a super kick in one of his fights and knocked a dude out with it before. So, hey, you never know. Jeremy Borash, Josh Matthews, drama. I think Josh Matthews has – I'm not going to pretend I like his commentary, but as like a heel persona, I dig the dude.
Yeah, he's very unlikable. He's very easy to dislike. That's a phrase I've used for a few people lately.
When Pope posts about it, I can't tell if he's kayfabing about it or if he's being serious about it.
A little bit of both. What they call ribbing on the square.
Nice. Has anybody stepped up at this last set of tapings that you saw like a measurable degree of improvement in?
I think Congo Kong, everything he did was really good this time out. Garza and Laredo did better this time. Let me see. You forget how much sometimes you see so much, it all blends together.
That was a lot in 4 days, 4 or 5 days.
The Helms dynasty was particularly awesome, as always. It was cool to see the stuff that Loki did, man. He's such a unique personality. First time I ever actually got to do anything in the ring with him. We never just crossed paths ever before. So that was pretty cool.
He's highly regarded, which is he's a polarizing personality because you never see him stick around anywhere too much. But I mean, even Matt Riddle a few weeks ago, he was going to take the weekend off, and they were like, "Well, we're going to book you against Low Key," and he was like, "Fuck that, I'm working this weekend." And the match didn't end up happening, but like people just like it. They want to work with him. I remember the stuff like it was 15 years ago with him and Amazing Red. It looked like Mortal Kombat come to life. And I was like, man, this guy is so cool. So that was an interesting name that I saw brought back.
Yeah, that one was pretty interesting. I'm trying to think what we saw. Bobby Lashley, I think, just gets better and better.
Isn't that crazy how
he's very uncredited. When they're talking about people that are just performing at the top of their game right now, man, he's killing it every single time out. And he makes it believable against people that physically don't match up to him well at all, which is that's a true talent, because it'd be easy to go out there and just make it look really unbelievable, It's really
good. On the mic too. I think that Lashley has done good stuff because it's like one day he woke up and he was like, "I'm fucking Bobby Lashley."
Yep, indeed. And they started talking normal. Some people, because he's an introverted guy, and he's pretty quiet, and that doesn't really work in pro wrestling too well. So he had to try to find a way to come out of his shell. And but he's done well. Rosemary has some really good moments this weekend that are going to, I think, turn out really well on TV. There was a lot of good stuff, man. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out.
Was Paige backstage again?
Yep.
Cool.
Oh, I mean, did
anybody
you
else? No. Just a yes or no. I mean, what were you gonna say? What else were you gonna say?
No, I thought you looked at the camera like I was like, did I miss something? No.
She attacked Rosemary backstage for real. Put her in her finisher on top of a table because it hurts more.
My house.
Yeah. This is my zone. That's how it goes down. How it goes down. Yeah, any other fancy names?
Some good stuff too.
Any other fancy names trolling about backstage?
Fancy names.
One of the Highlanders, Rory McAllister, Robbie. Which one's the one that showed up in the crowd at Impact that one time? Got himself fired.
Yeah, right on camera.
Fucking foolish.
At WrestleMania. Yeah. No, I mean, I think all the names that were back there have pretty much been. There was an indie guy named Chris Silvio that on one of the days he was booked one day, then the next day he wasn't, but he stood around in gear just in case, like put me in, coach. And a spot opened up, and they needed somebody for an explosion match, and there he was, and it happened. And so when we had the post-show agents meeting that night, I pointed that out, and I said, just want you to know that kid stood around ready to go in all day And so we really went out of our way to acknowledge him, and that was pretty cool.
So, I mean, that's something absolutely that not only did you take note of, you made sure that other people took note of as well.
Yeah, I made sure everybody in production and creative knew about it.
I think it's pretty cool. It just shows you never know. Hey, Dennis Stamp, for a decade, jumped on a trampoline in his underwear with weights. He was ready to go.
You think he was on that trampoline for a decade?
Straight? At least in my DVD player it was. R.I.P. Dennis Stamp. He got his last booking last year. Did you see that?
I've seen him at I haven't seen him personally or anything. But
Laredo had to let him borrow gear.
Really?
Which was phenomenal. Yeah, AIW booked him with that.
I never liked that segment of the movie. It always bothered me.
Really?
Yeah,
was it depressing or you just didn't like it?
Well, the movie overall was depressing, but I just felt like if this was Shane, if I was playing Terry Funk and I went up to one of my friends and I said, hey, I want you to come, to my show. And he said, well, I'm not coming if I'm not booked. I was like, well, go fuck yourself. And that's how long that segment would be. I didn't get it because I thought the guy, I don't want to trample on anybody, but I thought the guy was a jackass. I was like, well, man, go fuck off. Now, that's how that would have went down for me. And so I never got the joke about it, the appeal. Plus Terry retired 4 times after that. So that whole segment was kind of silly.
Well, the way I look at it, and obviously I'm not at a Dennis Stamp level even in my wrestling past, but he hadn't wrestled in 6 or 7
What would be the Dennis Stamp level?
You know what? He wrestled a hell of a lot more than I did. I've done about 2 or 3 dozen matches. And he hadn't wrestled in 6 years. And the guy walking up to you saying, be at my show, is fucking Terry Funk.
Exactly. This is exactly my fucking point.
My God. It could have, you know what? If it were me and the hand that Mae Young gave birth to walked up and said, I want you to be at a show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would cut the old dog spot, the thing that he did. That was a little weird.
And the thing is, you always wonder, was it a legit angle? Was it, or or was it just somebody else? You know what I'm saying? Did he really say that, or was that just for the movie? So you never know. But I know at the time I thought that was a legit documentary type thing, so I believed it. But
that was before the advent of reality TV. Before we knew that so much of this shit was scripted.
Yeah. But even back then, I was like, right away, I was like, man, go fuck yourself. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, he did get booked last year by AIW. Overall impressions.
If I actually filmed Beyond the Mat, that shit would have been the whole movie been about 20 minutes long. I would have interviewed Jake. I would have heard one story about him losing all his money, and I'd been like, all right, that's enough of that shit.
I'll get the fuck out of here. Man, that scene with him and his dad was uncomfortable.
The whole thing was uncomfortable. And then you get mixed concussion syndrome, which is getting his damn brains beat out. I was like, God, that's uncomfortable. But I like the Mike Modest part. That was the only part I really liked. The struggle of the indie guy trying to make it. That part I really dug. The rest of the movie I thought was fucking garbage though.
What'd you think of Roland Alexander in that? He has also since passed, but
I don't remember. I didn't really know him that well, or at all.
I mean, I should say he was the larger fellow who. He was interesting. One of the things I liked was when they had the Mike Modest Tony Jones match. I think Thrasher was backstage, and he saw that finish, and he's like, "I'm stealing that shit."
What was it?
I think it's what is now White Noise, one of the over the shoulder where you grab the head, Emerald Fusion, that type of move.
Yeah, I think Eli Drake does that too.
Yeah,
and Fit Finley, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. So these Impact tapings, overall impressions. What was it like? What was the morale like backstage?
Morale was pretty good. There's still, when you got a bunch of new guys, there's a degree of uncertainty. Nobody kind of knows who some people are. So And I think with a lot of influx of new talent, some of it, it's just weird when people that you think are going to be there aren't, and then new people are in their place. That creates a degree of uncertainty, but not an overwhelming degree, just something that's kind of at the edge of your mind, But there's a lot of positive, man. I still see a lot of, laughter, a lot of good spirits, a lot of high spirits, a lot of energy back there. I think toward the end of the taping, there was some kind of that went on, but I missed it, of course. This is one that I missed. I saw something going on, but Andrew Everett had got cracked in the fucking head, so I had to take care of him.
Yeah. I guess you're talking about the Jarrett Ryder thing?
Somebody was arguing, but I didn't think it was like serious or anything. I just kind of saw him talking and said, whatever. And business, so I didn't even really hear any of those details until yesterday. Somebody not even there is telling me what happened. And that's always awesome when that happens. I'm like, what? And they're like, didn't you see it? And I was like, well, I saw something, but I had this crazy thing where I mind my business. It really it's a foreign concept for a lot of people, but overall, still really positive. I mean, it's a company that's digging itself out of a hole, so that's always going to loom over us until we're out of that hole. But things going on there, a lot of young guys eager, ready to learn and ready to do stuff. I was in the ring with those VOW guys working on their finishers, and there were guys that were sliding in, team moves with them, and a lot of guys were sliding in and willing to take the bumps so I could work on the timing with them and stuff. And man, that's cool to see. And just bodies back there that, I really hadn't seen it any of the previous tapings because they want to be a part of the company, want to be on the show. Some local guys just coming in and girls just wanting to be there, wanting to be a part of it. So a lot of good energy.
Bob Ryder better watch out because he better watch out. My world. It can happen. Now, I want to ask you about a story we ran on Fightful.com. Drama in North Carolina.
Is it about Diego Sanchez getting knocked the fuck out?
No, but we will talk about that briefly.
Okay.
Drama among two of your friends, Matt Hardy and Rebby Sky. Rebby wants a new fridge. Matt didn't want to give it to her.
Okay.
And he confirmed to me that Impact, being stingy, sent a carrier owl to try to collect a fridge tax on the new fridge he was buying.
Could be. We got did you see any of the put it up? They had this owl that they're doing something with.
And I saw the photos.
Here's the thing. People that don't know shit about owls. And I'm like I'm not just all of a sudden taking up for owls because they are mean motherfuckers.
They don't like people.
They're predators. They're not these nice little furry things that are cute. And this fucking thing is gigantic. And it's huge and it's flying and his eyes are a dark orange red. And it just looks like it wants to claw your fucking face off at all times. And people are taking pictures with it, man. I don't never take pictures with shit like that. It's got to be in a cage. I might lean over there. I should have though. I should have got brave, but fucking thing's mean, man. But it's cool if you see Shira put up a video of it flying from the stage to the middle of the ring in this perch thing. It's pretty cool as hell.
I'm gonna check that out. You mentioned Diego Sanchez. Man, he got killed in about a minute and a half.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, I love combat sports, and these men, these are grown men, and it's their own life to make their decisions. They want to fight, let them fight. At some point, somebody needs to step back and be like, bro, your ass, you are a walking CTE waiting to happen.
Ellenberger, too.
It's already happened. There's no way that his brain can't be beat up. And, man, I only saw a couple of highlights, but.
It was rough. It was a sick knockout. It really was.
It was quick, too, right?
Yeah, a minute and a half, man. Mike Perry killed Jake Ellenberger. That happened, too. There were some okay fights. Ovent St. Preux beat another guy by Von Flue choke. I don't know where they track down these scrubs that get tapped out to Von Flue chokes, but OSP keeps running into him. So, hey, good for him, man.
So can we call him Baron Von Flue now?
Well, he says that he's calling the move the Saint Von Preux. now. So
Baron Von Vliet is way better as a name for him. I don't care what it comes to.
Shane, tell the people where they can follow you on social media.
At Shane Helms.com, cross-platform on everything. Twitter, Instagram, the Tumblr. That's what I do, man. Right now, my Instagram lately has been all pictures of Rosey and my woman. She won another 2 trophies this past weekend.
Shocker.
That was another thing that made the tapings hard to be at, because I wanted to be with her, and I'm just walking around distracted. And I know a couple people from Impact listen to the show and stuff. So if I was distracted, I just had a lot on my mind this weekend, but we got through it.
Guys, I want to thank you all so much for joining us. Follow at Fightful Wrestle, at Fightful MMA, at Fightful Online. And of course, go follow Shane, I guess. Till next time, guys, we're out.